Once upon a time, there was a little girl whose mom moved house. Her dad moved house too, but to somewhere else, and sometimes she went to stay with him, but it always felt cold in his new house, even when it was warm. There was an echo to the smooth, shiny surfaces of everything that made you think of knives and sharp edges. Mom's house was in the country and it was the opposite. It was so warm and full of people and noise and busyness that you couldn't even breathe. The air was always full of steam and talk and there was no peace. It helps. It does help. If I think of it as a story, it helps if I tell the story of what happened as if it was a fairy tale. I begin once upon a time, but I can't put another little girl in this story, though I wish it wasn't. This is my story. This is a story about me. So the child started to play outside in the garden to get away from the noise. She had never had a garden before. Even if she had it, wouldn't have compared to this one. This one was smooth lawn uphill and stretched out for running, and pretty shrubs cut into shape up near the house. But down along the back of it, there was an orchard of bitter apples. And behind that a hedge, high as the sky and thorny and tangled and thicker than walls. If you were small enough, you could slip through a gap between two apple trees and wiggle your way into a space under the hedge. Thorns and leaves all around, invisible from grown-ups and cousins and the whole world. When I found it first, I was only looking for a hiding place, but I found I could wriggle along on my belly for a while and come out the other side and into the woods. The woods were where every fairy tale I'd ever heard must have happened. I'd never seen such woods. I hadn't thought they came like this. The trees were wide apart and very old and thick, and the first time I found it, there were bluebells covering all the ground like carpet. I stepped so carefully, I didn't want to break them. They made a little ringing noise so high and faint I was sure I was imagining it, but not sure at the same time. I saw a squirrel that sat and looked at me for a long moment, and then move away like liquid poured into squirrel shape. I'd never seen a squirrel before that, ever. Birds with big black eyes and orange faces watched me from the trees. They looked like they might speak at any moment. After I found a way into the woods, I went back every day. I couldn't hear any sounds from other houses or from the road or from Mom's house when I was in the woods. Mom thought I was playing in the garden, and I didn't tell her different. I didn't want to ask her about the woods and have her show me them on a map or say what they were called, and of course, she knew about them. I secretly suspected that the woods might be real, and that would mean they weren't fairy tale at all, just normal and not secret, or special or only mine. I was sure there were talking animals and elves and things in the woods, and they'd always just left when I got there. We're just out of sight. There were faces that smiled from the barks of the big garnered old trees, and the trees were perfect for climbing on. One had a branch shaped like a hammock that was just a bit too high to be comfortable lying on in case I rolled over, but I did anyway, for the butterflies in my stomach. And there were the birds. I don't know what kind. I still don't know, but they had those orange faces and they'd look at me with black beady eyes, and I never saw them sing. Though the woods were always noisy with insects and bird song, and if you stayed still long enough, the noises got louder and louder, the small furtive rustlings of things that live in hiding. I always found something new there. Red berries bright as poison, mushroom, dark and spongy and smelling of dump. How long did I go on visiting there? I don't know if it was a reason, or a year, or 2, or 3. I don't remember the seasons changing. I don't remember if the leaves ever fell, and I don't remember snow or rain, but I think I was there for ages. I was young enough that I didn't try to talk myself out of being afraid. I froze for hours. It felt like, and then another sound, a woof of breath from off to the side, and I ran. I ran blind on instinct, and something followed me. I didn't look behind. I was the monster under the bed, and the big bad wolf and the boogeyman, and I didn't need to look at it to know that I should run. No part of me thought it might be only my imagination. It might be a fox or a dog or even an animal escaped from the zoo. It was real, and it was playing with me. I heard it ahead of me and veered away, and I heard the woof 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 of its breath again, but now it sounded like laughter. It played with me like a cat playing with a mouse, but it wasn't a cat. I swerved to get away and swerve again, but it was always faster than me, always in the way. And just like a cat playing with a mouse, once in every great while, the mouse gets away. I could see my mom through the window, yellow light spilling out, and 2 of my aunts in there with her, and a cousin I didn't like, and it looked so normal and boring, and I forced myself to look at that. Lost to provoke comfort and breathed in great gulps of air. And I told myself that no monster could exist in the same world as mothers who made the same chicken casserole. Again and again, even though she knows I don't like it, and cousins who leave sticky fingerprints on all your things, but you have to play it anyway even if you don't want to. Mom gave out to me for ruining my trousers. You would think I'd never have gone back. Why would I go back? But children think differently. For a week, maybe 2, I didn't go back. The thought was terrifying. And then I went to stay with Dad, and he took me to the fanfare, and it was the first good visit ever. The tunnel was bigger on the wood side now. Must have tried to get through after all. That made me feel worse and better all at the same time. Worse because it was such tangible evidence that it was really real. It had really happened, and it had really chased me and really dug up real soil. And better because it definitely couldn't get through even though it had tried to. I was cautious. I lay in the tunnel, ready to wriggle back at the first sight or sound. But I could hear the birds singing, the insects humming, and I thought I saw a frog hop, and I never seen one up close before. A bird with an orange face landed close enough to make me jump and put its head on one side and said, "Chirp," exactly like it was saying the word chirp, as if it was asking me where I'd been all this time. I was absolutely sure then that the birds would talk to me one day and say more than just chirp. I didn't know then. It was so clever. It almost got me one time more. I don't know what to do. Now that I see it all written down, it isn't like a fairy tale at all. If it was the birds, it had told me where to find the silver bullet or the magic sword, and I'd kill the monster or turn it human with a kiss, and I'd be the chosen one and live happily ever after the fairy tale wins. I think I might be far enough away. Maybe if I just wait. just hide for a while. Forgot about me before. Maybe it will again. So clever. Your bird with orange face outside the door. And we went for coffee. Inside now. I know what to do. Can it work, Lux? Orange feathers on carpet. So clever.